Doing this TED Talk is giving me anxiety. I would rather come down with a case of our best friend COVID-19 than stand here and give this talk right now. Internally, I'm about to cry. Public speaking can be one of the hardest things on the planet, fueling the anxiety and depression that I'm not formally diagnosed with. But I would know all about them because I've seen the jokes, laughed at the memes, and complained on Twitter. So in essence, I kinda want to die. But okay, let's back up a little. See, I just said some very problematic things. Did you catch them? Or did this just seem like your general teenage talk, like a caption on someone's private Insta spam account? The thing is, so many issues like health and news get swept under the wave of comedy. We use our jokes to cope with our problematic world, which, to an extent, is fine. Until it becomes so widespread that the actual value of issues are lost. The urgency, the importance, it gets lost in the sea of humor until that's all it can be. A joke. By normalizing dire topics through jokes, we desensitize our generation and prevent ourselves from aiding pressing issues. So today, let's set up the status quo of our current society, sprinkle in how mental health fits in, and then deliver the punchline. That is, what you can do before finally setting back and realizing perhaps that joke wasn't as good as you thought it was. So, starting at the root, why do we mask today's issues with a little but-ums? Well, as more things come to light within the 21st centuries, some of us don't know how to deal with the challenges and new issues that we're being hit with. It's difficult to remain optimistic when the media and news is constantly sharing the tragedies of the world. So it makes sense that we turn to our witty mouths to turn up something funny to lighten the mood or downplay the seriousness of a situation. Look at the example of mental health, where I've heard everyone, including myself, go, "This gives me depression after getting a bad grade," or "This triggers my OCD after seeing a misaligned painting." By joking about the mental illness, we throw away any connotation that this could be a serious topic. It becomes so normalized that the weight and seriousness of actually having a mental illness has been reduced. Psychiatrist James Blake and Director of Outpatient Mental Health Mason Spring Turner write about how current treatments and the dominant model of mental health do not adequately address the complex challenges of mental illnesses, which accounts for every 1 in 3 people of adult disability globally. A potential reason? The urgency and need for care centers for ill people is overtaken by the memes and jokes of social media. The result is a lot less attention is given to patients that need help, or victims themselves don't step forward because how its magnitude and importance is downplayed in the media. When so many people don't receive the aid they need, life can be more difficult than necessary, and those without the proper education may not know how to handle themselves, and in worst cases, it can lead to suicide. But don't be a downer, you may say, whatever it takes to cope, you know? You might even think that this is beyond you, that the desensitization of our generation is but confined to mental illness, and there's nothing really you can do. It was just one joke after all. You didn't mean any harm. But the reality is, this is everywhere. The normalization of violent shooting games translated to real-life mass shootings where innocent people died. The normalization of sexualizing women in the media translated to rape, and they're just object mentalities. Even now, in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, the normalization of racist jokes being made by restaurants and influential figures across the US has led to the abuse of Asian Americans all across the country. So many areas of life that were deemed once important issues and topics are becoming hubs of comedy under the pretense of, hey, it's a coping mechanism. Well, really, it's just another way to split the people of our society, to take away one of humanity's greatest traits, compassion and empathy. So, this is not beyond you or us. It is in fact our total responsibility to stop ignoring the severity of these issues, to put a filter in our head and reprogram ourselves to regain the empathy that has once been lost through repetitive numbing. It's our responsibility for the sake of society to understand what is right or wrong in the media and stop the slaughter of the compassion that makes us human. Because at the end of the day, who are we if not a society built on the ideals of kindness, of unity? Who are we without the empathy that binds us together and allows us to sympathize? Who are we really? Detached? Robotic? Brought happiness at the expense of others? Is that what we really want to become? LOL, I guess, but I'd like to think we'd still care enough, just enough, to forward kindness and respect to those around us. Thank you for listening.